Welcome to ScareZone Halloween Horror Nights podcast. Bart, Scott, how the Halloween are ya?
Are we rolling?
I see you rolling.
I see you rolling.
Yeah.
We got
everything.
We got everything.
Everything and more. Full reveal, as we kind of anticipated, expected, and said. We thought we'd probably get one more big drop, and everything was released. I have it all in front of me. I think we should go over even the stuff that we know. Let's just talk it all out. Do a full event overview because it is going to be great. I have to say, after this announcement, my excitement level went from I was like 7, 8 excited to this took me over the top. There's some really great things in this.
Oh, I mean, even the stuff like you said we knew about. Now seeing it here with descriptions and everything. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, let's just go through it. So this press release came in just yesterday from Halloween Horror Nights. Universal Orlando Resort unveils the final lineup for Halloween Horror Nights, including an array of twisted original haunted houses, 5 scare zones, and 2 live shows. We're going to talk about those. Guests will brave this collection of haunts and more, of course, starting September 3rd through October 31st of this year, with 5 original haunted houses announced. Let's go through them. So the first one that we kind of knew was coming because, we'd seen pretty much every piece of the puzzle, and that was Welcome to Scary Horror in the Heartland. Step into the notorious Halloween Horror Nights town of Cary and relive its most horrifying haunts of the past 30 years. So what that does mean, and I have a longer description as well, because it says, whether Bart, there's some things in here we may personally have not. I'll just read it. Guests will be transported back to the shady township of Cary and enter familiar settings that will leave fans shrieking from nostalgia and horror, from the ghastly caves of the vampires from the Hive.
Oh.
The attic of Dead End and disturbing meets Human Deli from Leave It to Cleaver, which was one of my all-time favorites. They'll find no escape from the evil of Cary once and for all. So, mixed bag here. Meets. I love to Leave It to Cleaver. I love the ones that are silly and goofy and over the top and gory. But then you got the Hive. The Hive was maybe one of our.
Now I liked the house overall.
There was just moments we didn't.
There
care.
were a couple moments that were a little much, for me. But as a parent, but no, overall, I still thought that was a great house.
That's true.
I mean, it's in my top 5 of that year.
And we're reaching back now. This is not a new. I mean, there may be some new story elements, but it's interesting that really this year, and I will say this year, unlike any even big anniversary years, this 30th Halloween Horror Nights is really pulling from the past.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack from it.
And I didn't realize that the Hive was supposed to take place in Cary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you aren't following or looking at little signs or saying, oh, look, it says that here and there, you're not necessarily going to pick up on the subtlety of it, which is why it's kind of interesting that's even in the press information. It shows that the Horror Nights fandom has grown exponentially, where you can do something like this, and it's not just an Easter egg. I feel like the idea of Cary was kind of an Easter egg.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it was like an underlying theme. It's, just from...
it's there.
What I've read and then the years I've been there. But now it's like, what is that, meta, where it actually becomes, it's now a house. Yeah.
So, okay, that one's cool. I'm excited.
I'm trying to think, has Cary even featured in the last 3 events?
I'm sure it has. It did the Hive. When was that?
That's true. The Hive, that was my first year, so that was 7.
I think a lot. Again, I think it's not. I
guess that's true. I didn't realize. Because I think there have been scare zones specifically. There was one where a bunch of the inmates from an asylum got loose just a few years ago in Cary.
Trying to pull up a full list to see if there's. I'm sure it exists on the HHN wiki.
Yeah. Because that was the year they had a guy that was they were forcing someone to bob for apples, but that was actually I think.
All right. So most recently, you had Slaughter Cinema took place in.
Oh, that was in Cary. Okay.
In Cary in 2021.
That was my second year.
Twisted Tradition also took place there in 2018. So both of those, and then Hive in 2017.
Okay.
So every year.
Maybe not last. Maybe not 29.
2019, I don't think did have a one. But before that, it was pretty much every year or every other year since 2002 has had some kind of Cary reference. Looking through these, I mean, there are some great ones. Hopefully we'll see some other ones. The HR Blood and Guts, people bring that up a lot. That's very similar to tone of the meets of the Leave It to Cleaver.
Yeah.
So, and those were a couple years apart. So hopefully maybe we'll see some touches of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited because I've seen like video. There was a year where they were projecting video from that on the wall.
Yeah.
And wasn't Mike Aiello in some of those videos?
I think he's in a lot of them. A lot of those people are in them.
A butcher or something. So, yeah, very excited about it.
All right, so there's Welcome to Scary. And it says, follow in the footsteps of our legendary paranormal detective on a ghostly mission in Case Files Unearthed Legendary Truth. So the return of Legendary Truth, which is obviously been a long-standing tradition of Horror Nights, similar to Carrie, where it's most years had some years more than others, some where it's taken over the whole Horror Nights experience. But I think maybe even the Legendary Truth was part of the. One of my favorite things was the VR thing they did. Like I was like the only person who paid $50 to do it.
I was gonna say, wasn't that the one you had to pay extra for?
No, it was the Disturbatory, the something-tory.
That was 26.
Yeah, I forget off the top of my head the name, but that was part of Legendary Truth. And Legendary Truth has played a major role in Horror Nights for years. So I'm excited to see this, but also it ties into, there was no references to Bloody Mary in the Icon's house.
Oh, okay.
Or in the shows, or it really seemed like that was one that was removed. Well, this has some tie into that. So that's very cool if you're a fan of that year and this character, Boris Shuster, who's been the private eye for Halloween Horror Nights, if you will. But for the most part, other than that first time when he was sort of the detective, kind of the foe of Bloody Mary, we've seen references. We've seen a sign here and there, a placard here and there, Morgan, Easter egg nods. So this is the first time that he has been back as sort of a full-on character. So you may not get Bloody Mary, but at least you get something that signifies that year.
That's interesting because I don't know anything about any of that. I don't even, so for me, who's still kind of newer to the world, what is Legendary Truth, first of all? Is that an outside company that comes in?
No.
It's part of Universal.
It's just part of the lore.
Oh.
It's part of the
I thought
Halloween
Legendary
Horror
Truth
Nights.
was like an actual organization.
No, not
something.
like Midnight Syndicate.
No, that's what I was thinking.
No, it's just part of the lore. It's a kind of a subsect storyline.
But then let me ask you, so are we going to have to pay extra for this one?
I don't think so, no.
Because they did,
I think they got rid of that.
That was just
like a one-off thing that didn't do so well.
That was also before, they didn't even do 10 houses.
Repository? Sorry, the Repository.
I remember the name.
Yeah.
And that was
the first ever 10th house.
That was the first ever 10th house, and you had to pay extra. And then after that, it's always been 10. Up until a few days ago, people were certain there was going to be 11 this year.
Yeah, so when I'm looking at Legendary Truth is the organization that studies the evil that takes place at Halloween Horror Nights.
Okay, so it's a made-up organization.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
part of the
I thought maybe it was like
arc.
Just like some local Orlando, like SAC Theater, which Disney then brought. I thought it was something like that.
Yeah, or the Academy of Villains.
Yes,
that
right,
kind of thing.
Right. Because especially since they charged extra to do it the last time they had a house.
The last thing is when it got to get touched.
Yeah, which is also weird.
And I don't think they're going to be doing that anytime soon.
No.
You can't even sign up for that. So Boris Shuster, the main lead in this, was, again, Bloody Mary's kind of main feud in 2008. I think that was that house that year. And has made, again, little cameos, but this will be the first time that the character is back. I love this. Again,
that's cool.
This is minutia. This is granular Horror Nights stuff for the fans. This is a fan event more than I've ever seen.
But I will tell you, like, as someone who didn't even know the backstory of Boris Badenoff, whatever his name is.
Shuster, whatever.
When I just read Steve Schussler, the inventor of the Rainforest Cafe.
They opened a Rainforest Cafe in Malta yesterday.
Well, all right.
We got to get down there. Reservations are open.
No, I completely lost my train.
Sorry.
Oh, no. Just even reading the small snippet yesterday and not knowing the backstory, I was like, this house sounds cool. A private eye. I love it.
It does sound very cool.
Because I'm like, this is something I have not seen at Horror Nights. Yes, exactly.
So I'll read you what the description is from the press release because it's fairly lengthy. The world of Legendary Truth, an evolving story following a mysterious paranormal research group, has haunted guests via unique haunted houses throughout Halloween Horror Nights history. See, I think even maybe people in the press department, it's kind of hard to explain the Legendary Truth.
Yeah.
In Case Files Unearthed Legendary Truth, guests will step into the well-worn shoes of the infamous Boris Shuster, the elusive private eye investigating the supernatural, as he endlessly searches for clues to a series of strange occurrences throughout New York City. Also, could be awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
New York as your backdrop. I love that. Falling further into the shadowy dark world of the paranormal, guests will face an overwhelming onslaught of ghouls, poltergeists, and terrors, all while trying to solve the biggest mystery of them all, how they'll survive. So, case files unearthed, legendary truth. Is it a New York noir style
everything
house?
about it.
On paper,
Everything about it is
this may
perfection.
be number one.
I love it.
I love it. I think it sounds like it sounds unique, still deep, set in Horror Nights lore. You get a Bloody Mary reference without getting the specific character. I dig it. I'm all about it.
I mean, dude, this last one, two, everything they announced yesterday plus last week with Icons Captured. I mean, again, all these IP houses, I think I'm more excited. I mean, I'm sorry, all these original houses, I think I'm more excited for than any of the IP houses.
Not that isn't the case many years, but just on descriptions
saying,
alone, these are, and usually there's that house that we go through and we're like, well, that blew us away. Poltergeist, something like that.
Sure, of course.
On paper, these I'm so excited about. And there are IP houses that I look forward to doing Beetlejuice. I look forward to doing some of these big iconic names. But really, I'd say Beetlejuice is probably the only one. I mean, last year in the rankings,
I would have thought it would have been my most anticipated. And it's in the middle for me now.
Yeah,
you know, but part of it also is just like I love Beetlejuice. I've seen the movie like 100 times, but I know what he looks like. I know what everything looks like.
Unknown.
This is the unknown, and that's I know what Leatherface looks like.
Yeah, the only thing we know about. Look, there are houses that we've hyped up and got excited about and have disappointed us and let us down. That always is going to be the case. But there is that sense of the reason that these work so well on paper, too, is because we have no idea what we're getting ourselves into. And I do love that. All right, moving on to another one that I feel like does tie back into some Horror Nights history, become entangled in the sinister roots of Halloween in the wicked growth realm of the pumpkin.
I mean, do you remember? You remember? Remember a couple of years ago there was that ScareZone that was all pumpkins?
Scare, so yes.
Like I feel like is this like just the extension of
That's
that?
exactly what I felt. I feel like the reviews of that were so high. They're like, people love pumpkins.
It was so good. I mean, I do like just the idea there's going to be something that's going to be completely devoted to pumpkins for Halloween Horror Nights. I mean, P.S. I mean, look at our logo behind you. By the way, I mean, we love pumpkins.
It's lured by a pumpkin lord. Which, I mean...
They can't be a pumpkin king.
That guy kind of has a pumpkin lord look to him, just saying. So the beloved tradition of Halloween has more sinister roots waiting to be unearthed as the grower of the ritual, the pumpkin lord, is preparing for this yearly human harvest and wicked growth realm of the pumpkin. Lured in by familiar sights and sounds of the holiday, guests will find themselves trapped in an endless maze of traditional Halloween domains. I love that, including a dilapidated haunted house, an ominous graveyard, and even wicked witch's cottage. All overrun by ruthless creatures engulfed in ghastly pumpkin growth. They'll follow the ceaseless vines as they twist and turn right into the pumpkin lord's lair, where he eagerly awaits new victims and is never satiated. Great word to end.
I mean, like this now may be my most anticipated house.
Yeah, there is a bit of me that goes.
To that.
It's a bit of a mixed bag of there's the haunted house. There's the witches, cottage.
There's a haunted house in a haunted house.
There's a graveyard. Yeah.
Speaking of
there
meta.
is part of me, it's like, did we just go to like Joanne Fabric and be like, what do we got here? All right, throw it. It's very Halloween. I love it.
Well,
no, I'm not opposed to
I
it.
will say,
it just is a little, maybe not. The idea of having everything is a little bit like, what do we got left in the scare zones? Can we throw some stuff up?
And in fairness, I was thinking, well, 3 years ago they did the fairy tale one. Yeah. And so some of them like, well, they could probably repurpose.
There's some repurposing going on. Maybe.
Fine. I love that house too. If they just told us we're just doing that one again, I'd be like, great, let's go. Maybe not the ladies that had to swing out over the audience as the witch every night, but
that was pretty awesome.
I think everybody else would be happy about it.
Oh man, so let's. I think this is a great one. I'm very excited about anything pumpkin-y, traditional Halloween theming, and I wouldn't want to use the word clip art, but in that sense of like traditional classic Halloween.
Sure.
I'm all about it. We've said, and we've said both of us are not the biggest horror fans. We are big Halloween fans.
Right.
So this really, as the storm approaches, feels
wow.
like, I don't think you guys can hear that, but there's thunder and lightning happening right here. All right, and then the next one, I don't think we've spent too much time on, but we all kind of knew it was coming. Fall victim to a fiendish theater troupe in puppet theater, captive audience. So we saw that video a year ago.
Yep. But honestly, I've pretty much forgotten.
Me too.
Most of it. because it wasn't sideways when we saw it.
Something like that, yeah. The demented side of puppetry, which, I mean, let's just be honest, it's mostly demented. In theater will take center stage. A puppet theater captive audience and guests are transported to San Francisco's abandoned theater in the Grand Theater in the early 1900s. They'll find I'm just going to use words, I don't know if I'm right, Pasek puppet troupe trapped within its ruins in the midst of rehearsing their new grisly performances with a fanatical need to entertain any captive audience. The troupe is turned into transforming trespassers into living puppets, dismantling and sewing them back together. I kind of like reading this as life-size marionettes for additions to their horrific. Reading is not my strong suit today. Will guests escape in one piece, or will it be their final curtain call? No matter what, the show must go on. Again, I think much like the next one we'll talk about. Okay, great.
Yeah. I mean, I remember
puppets.
This is probably in the middle for me. I mean, I am excited. I mean, I remember seeing that video.
I think we've had too long to simmer on it.
Probably.
A year is too long to get it stay excited.
Right. Now, once they all set in, then maybe it'll be like, okay, well, let's see what my most anticipated is, right? Especially like the week of, But.
Yeah. And then finally, Revenge of the Tooth Fairy, which you've heard our full reviews. You can go back on that. I assume it's the same.
It's an awesome house. And
really great. Beautiful, scary.
Hopefully it'll be a little different even for us.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some changes.
Hopefully there won't be plexiglass.
We'll see.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out.
We'll find out in 3 weeks.
Yeah, to the day.
Yeah. We should probably book our flights.
I was thinking that, but I know you like to wait till the last minute all the time.
Well,
I know. Well, we'll figure it out.
I'll work it out. All right. So
we're not that far. We could drive.
We could drive. I do love to drive.
I love a road trip.
I'm going to take this now over to we've done the houses. I don't think there's any other original houses. I think that was the last one.
No, that's it.
I think that's last of all the houses we haven't discussed. You can go hear our others. I will say that under the icons captured, it was just kind of an interesting nod. They go through all of them, and now with the main change, it says Jack the Clown and his assistant Chance.
Yeah,
a deadly pair, and they put Chance in bold because I think people were kind of going, "Is there a chance? Is Chance not involved?" Clearly,
well, they did mention, but they have Chance
not involved as her own icon, involved as an icon within Jack's lair. So maybe Chance won't get her own experience.
But I did think, you were talking about the Bloody Mary icon. Like, I thought some of the public facing stuff said "and more," so it is possible that some of these others could pop up too.
I think let's move on to the shows, and then let's come back and end with the ScareZones. I feel like they're our main event because it's the name of the show. So 2 shows were announced, one with a lot of detail, one with a little less detail. The first one is Marathon of Mayhem Carnage Factory, which is a lagoon show, like Waterworld. Maybe not. It's like they have the screens in the middle, the water screens. That are set up like
they did this last time.
It's something like
with clips from movies.
Yeah. So this one's a little different because again, it's for the Horror Nights fans. It says the all-new Universal Studios Lagoon show will make its horrifically hypnotic premiere. It's like they know I have to read this out loud. At Halloween Horror Nights in Marathon of Mayhem Carnage Factory, Jack the Clown will lure guests into a trance, and they'll awaken in the heart of an insidious factory with pulsing lasers and pounding, electrifying music.
Wow.
Bart's favorite.
Our favorite things.
Yeah.
But being
outside.
I wouldn't mind it being outside, standing by the lagoon.
Standing.
Yeah, not being penned in, which they couldn't do now anyway.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, they could, I guess. We'll see.
Frozen with fear, a nightmare machine will extract guests' deepest fears one by one and project them onto giant water screens showcasing notorious Halloween Horror Nights icons and frightening scenes from Netflix critically acclaimed series, The House of Haunted Hill, the legendary Universal Monsters classic movies, and the iconic Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, great. Now, last time there was that Lagoon show, we missed it.
We didn't get to see it. That's right. That's why it kind of slipped your mind.
Because when you have 10 houses and multiple shows.
Yeah, we just ran out of time.
It's like we ran out of time. We were on a RIP tour.
But they had to stagger them, and so by the time we got started, we just didn't.
We just missed it.
But yeah.
I mean, and look, and not unlike this, it still would be my least priority.
Right. We didn't. Not that it wasn't even cool or anything. It's just like if I had missed something and not really.
If I have to watch something online, this is it.
Right, which I have. You know, and it was just the last one was just clips from some of the movies that were there. This one actually they've weaved in a story, which I like.
In the icons. Now, if our wives go to Horror Nights this year, I think this would be something worth it.
Yeah,
I think it's something they'll enjoy.
They'll probably see it 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. My wife hates chainsaws, and there's more chainsaws this year than I've ever read. And then the second show, which presumably will be in the theater, the Bill and Ted Theater, the Fear Factor, the Wild Wild West theater, will be Halloween Nightmare Fuel. And this is a very small amount of details. A fearsome and unforgettable performance will ignite guests' waking nightmares in the all-new show Halloween Nightmare Fuel, where nocturnal creatures, aerialists of the night, and frightful fire performers, which my kids would love, will come alive to the crackling beat of rock, metal, and electronica. That's it for that.
That's way more than they put out to the public.
Yeah.
The website just says, a new show is igniting Halloween Horror Nights featuring fire, pyro, and aerial performers.
I mean, they just took that and stretched it.
I mean, yeah.
I do know Jason Horn, who directed the Bill and Ted shows for the last number of years and also directed Academy of Villains. This is his show again. That's exciting. He's a talented guy, nice guy. He's always been a friend of this show. So I'm excited to see him have some cool role in this. Again, sounds great.
I mean, I'm way more into this just with the addition of the words aerial performers than I would have been a dance troupe. Yeah,
just knowing it's circusy
it sounds like a Cirque du Soleil type thing for Halloween. I mean, maybe not, but we'll find out.
Yeah, but on paper, it's better than it's a dance troupe, and I hope you like it. Now, look, no offense to those people, love those shows.
Oh, I know,
but they just weren't for us necessarily.
Nope.
And they didn't necessarily have the emotion that I wanted. This seems like it may. I do wish, personally, if I had a gripe, that there's something silly in these things. And there's no Bill and Ted, there's no, even in the houses, there's not a natural, I mean, I guess you'd say maybe puppet theater.
Oh, and that meets one.
That's a portion of a house.
Yeah, it's a portion of a house.
There isn't a one that's, I guess Beetlejuice. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, well, all right.
It's straight silly. Yeah, and I'll say Beetlejuice is probably pretty silly. All right, so let's, should we take it to the zones?
Take it to the zones.
Auto zones. 5 scare zones announced. What I like about this is I wasn't necessarily prepared for most of them. So some true surprises that came out of it. The obvious one, 30 Years, 30 Fears. We've seen it kind of built. We've seen the production. The most infamous characters from Halloween Horror Nights Scare Zones will reunite to take over the Avenue of the Stars. In 30 Years, 30 Fears, guests will gory reunion where the past come back to haunt them. Beastly monstrosities, chainsaw-wielding fiends lurking around every corner. So not necessarily icons. What it is, it looks like, is past scare zone elements.
Yeah.
There's not details, according to this press release, of what those are. Like the others had mentioned, certain things we'll get to reunite with. But over the last decade or so, maybe in the last 5 years, there have been some pretty iconic scare zones. So hopefully we'll see some of those characters return. I know people would really love to see what.
Huh?
You home?
I'm trying to figure out where these are going to be. Get through them and then we'll talk. Some of them
this one says.
Yeah. Wait. 30 Years, 30 Fears?
Yes, and it wasn't what I thought it was. Yeah, we'll take over the Avenue of the Stars.
Is that Hollywood? I thought this was the one when you first walked in.
So did I when I said it. I thought it was with those logos. The Avenue of the Stars at Universal Orlando.
But it's over in the Beverly Hills area.
Yeah, I guess so.
Where the plastic surgery one was last time, Vanity Ball.
Yeah. So maybe this will be a little different.
So,
which is where they've put some of the Vamp 55, some of the ones that were more classic.
Oh, which I've already seen. We know that's going to be Vamp 55 will be a portion of this.
How do we know that?
Well, someone posted. The backdrop is already up. Yeah.
I figured that was one of the most popular scare zones of the last 10 years.
I would personally prefer 85, and not just because I was alive then.
Yeah.
But I know people love 55.
Yeah, it was a fun one. I mean, cool. I thought, when I was reading this out loud, I thought we were talking about the first thing you come to. But clearly I'm wrong. So maybe that's just
I assume that, I assume that, and I would have thought...
Are we wrong? The Avenue of the Stars technically is where?
I mean, you worked there.
I know, but I never referred to anything as the Avenue of the Stars.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I would have thought that would be that Hollywood section.
I think you're right. I mean, I think you're right. I always thought that was Beverly Hills. That was like the Beverly Hills.
Maybe well, I don't know.
Should we take a second? Avenue of the Stars. People are yelling at their iPhones right now.
Yeah, we can edit this part out.
Nah.
Oh, I just wrote Ogle.
Ogle.
And now I'm at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration website.
Plaza of the Stars. Okay, no, we're right.
We are right. Okay, good.
We're right. It's the first thing. Production Central, which is what I think of, the first thing when you first walk in. So, yes.
All right.
We're correct. It's where the big 30 Years of 30 Fears things are set up right now, which is why I was like by Shrek. So.
Oh, those are set up by Shrek.
Yes.
Which is where I thought this would have been.
Right. We're right.
Those aren't part of this.
No, they are.
They are.
That's the Avenue of the Stars.
Okay. Oh, by Shrek.
By Shrek. That whole first entry.
When you first walk in.
What I refer to as Production Central.
Oh, I gotcha.
They said they've gone through different names of what that area is called.
I gotcha.
All right. We'll take back our fan card.
All right.
All right. Crypt TV. I know this was largely thought to be, what's the other one? What's the streaming service for horror?
Oh, Shudder.
Shudder.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Everybody thought that was going to be a thing.
Close.
Or Creep
Guests
Show.
will step inside Crypt TV, a dark universe of monsters that resides in the same reality on their screens, in their pockets, and now in real life. In the nighttime world that's overtaken San Francisco, creatures of all shapes and sizes exist, including the Looksee, the Sunny family cult Harclaw. We're not good at this. Miss Amity. And now they brought to life in the world of fear that engulf any guest who enter. So this is a branded scare zone based on Crypt TV, which is like a streaming service that you can get with monsters and creatures, and I believe it's a Blumhouse owned.
Oh, I didn't know that
thing, or is it also Shudder? Is it the same people? It's Eli. It says it's founded by Eli Roth and Jason Blum.
Maybe they made it to compete with
I thought Shudder was owned by those guys.
Really?
I thought it was owned by Eli Roth.
I don't know the backstory of Shudder. I just know it's what Joe Bob is on.
Regardless, I don't know who any of these characters are.
Yeah, I don't either. I thought this was all original stuff they made up.
No.
Oh,
these are all shows that are available on Crypt TV.
Huh. Well, now I've learned something new today.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check this out.
Yeah, it seems like something you'd like. It's all. It looks like it's all monsters.
I'm already down the rabbit hole. I'm just looking at. Oh yeah, there's Looksee. Ooh, Looksee is terrifying. All right.
What's that look like?
He's like a kind of a. He's got no eyes. It's just like flesh and.
Oh, I see him.
A mouth like Venom.
He's
wearing
got
a sport
mouth
coat
like Venom
and a button-down shirt.
Hey, you can submit things on here. So Bart, just saying.
Oh, maybe I have heard of this.
They're looking for great ideas, content, new creators. Just saying, someone I know writes horror books.
That doesn't mean they're great ideas.
Yeah.
But I'll try. All right. Jason, if you're out there. I have a friend who works for Jason Blum. But, What do you
Good for you. Yeah. All right. Should we move on?
Yes. I think so. The audience is saying, please, for the love of God.
Seek and destroy. Seek and destroy. Guests will find themselves in New York dystopia, where a ruthless alien cyber regime, which I mean, that's a lot to unpack there. led by the controller, has taken over, relentlessly scanning the city streets for humans and turning them into fuel. With the regime's loyal followers hiding in the darkness, endlessly hunting for new victims, guests must either join them or be destroyed. I'll be honest. I love the name. This feels like every scare zone that ends up in New York. Sometimes, like they're like, what toxic waste? Yeah. There's some kind. I mean, an alien cyber regime is like, I don't even know if I can.
Well, and that also sounds like the plot to the first Academy of Villains show. Remember that?
Oh, that's
like
right.
The cyberhead or whatever that was yelling at you.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag.
Turning humans into this. Yeah, the website says succumb or be destroyed. Well, I mean, that's not much of a choice.
Is there a picture of the controller?
No, just there's the sign that says seek and destroy, and then, there is a face in the back, like a digital mapped face.
Well, that's the controller, probably.
It must be the controller.
He's an alien, cyber alien. Mm-hmm. It's just what he is.
I'm an alien, and that we know is in New York. Yes, we've talked.
Yes, and I like that area a lot. I think there've been some great ones in New York, but I do feel like that's a bit. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how you're going to tell that story. I look forward to that. Like, how are we going to be able to understand?
I know there's a bunch of toxic waste barrels with like tubes coming.
I've
seen some of the
It feels
set,
like that. Like you're going to be raining foam on you or something. You know.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I don't want things on me.
If there's toxic, there's always foam.
Right.
Maybe not in 2021, but we'll see. So 2 more
It's made the sanitizer. It's
and
okay.
these both that'd be fun. These both have Halloween Horror Nights history connected. So
yeah, direct connections.
Yep, Gorewood Forest, the Heartless Terror Queen. As we talked about last week, we wondered Terror Queen's on the merch, but not on the house.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Terror Queen's got a scare zone again, is back, and her wicked plans to remake the world in her terrifying image will take root in Central Park, transforming it into the grisly Gorewood Forest. Guests will find nowhere to hide from her menacing minions as they harvest fresh blood to feed her ever-growing power. Feels like there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide in all of these. Never go
this
alone.
one, literally, you're in like a tunnel almost.
I haven't seen any pictures.
I haven't either, but I mean, I'm just saying the way the trees. This is always this is my favorite scare zone
in Central Park
because of just the feel of it and everything.
Yeah,
I'm psyched about this. And isn't there some lore that her year, which was 15, right? She said, "I'll be back in 15 years."
Oh, did she?
So she was supposed to be back last year. At least, I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm talking about because I wasn't there, but there is some story like that.
It's a bit fuzzy for me. I'm not sure.
Well, you've been to a lot.
I've been to a lot. This will be technically my first year was 2001, so this will be 20 years since my first Horror Nights will be this year. All right, and this one that I'm very excited about because it's a character who doesn't seem to get the love he deserves, and that is Lights, Camera, Action, Eddie's Revenge. Eddie Schmidt, Jack the Clown's diabolical brother, is returning to Halloween Horror Nights to film a gory Hollywood sequel and Lights, Camera, Action, Eddie's Revenge. Except this time, the monsters are real. Vampires, evil clowns, creatures from the watery depths, and horrific beings from events past will roar on the scene where guests will make their short and painful cameos. So, we have at least returning Eddie and at least references to other previous characters. Again, playing to the fans. I like it. This is a fan service year. Eddie Schmidt was supposed to be the icon, as many of us know, in 2001 because of the tragic events of September 11th. They scrapped that. That was my first year. And Eddie became Jack again for 2001, and they definitely lightened it up. Eddie has made some cameos and appearances through scare zones and houses like Run throughout the years, but I really love this. I feel like this has given him his due. If he wasn't going to get his own house or be a part of that house, I actually prefer him to have this. I dig it. I think that this is a really great one, and it may not be much. It may just be people in costumes. I'm not expecting a whole lot from it.
Yeah.
But I look forward to seeing that character. If you're not that familiar with that character, again, it's Jack's brother. If you look at him, he's got like a mask on, but he has sort of the Jack makeup kind of burned into his skin.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That's
so
cool.
it was always a cool character that, again, I feel like just sadly was the wrong time and didn't get his due. So 20 years later, finally making a big appearance. Man, and that's it. And I have to say, that is an exciting announcement. And again, the ultimate fan service year in the best way. They are playing towards Halloween Horror Nights lore, not just in a house, not just in a scare zone, but practically everywhere. If it's not an IP, it seems to be pretty steeped in Horror Nights history.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not Puppet Theater, but other than that. What are you reading?
Why does I saw a bunch of boxes that still say coming soon, but they're under attractions.
Yeah, I've
Is
noticed.
that where they just tell you what rides will be open?
Yeah.
That's weird. All right. Seems like extra work. And they haven't filled in merchandise and dining yet. But didn't we
also
also
of merch has come out in the last day.
Yeah. Didn't they announce they're not doing scare actor dining?
Yeah, no.
I feel like we didn't talk about that.
Oh, did you see that the tribute store is like
it's like a haunted house.
It's like a facade.
Yeah, the facade's like a haunted house. It might be the Hill House. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't have a problem with that. I kind of like the old school just tribute store, but whatever.
Yeah. No, but they do keep.
I like though the big ones they've had before.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
I mean, the one year they had the big cat head.
Maybe it ties more into New York or the New York scare zone.
That's possible. I mean, I like to. I was kind of bummed though to see that when they tore down the Jurassic World stuff. I was like, I wish I could have got there just to see the store, but
yeah,
it's all right. I'd rather
some of the merch has hit
tribute store,
including which made me think of your Turvis. There is a mask that is face mask that is Frankenstein, the old Universal logo, Jack, and Chucky.
Oh wow. Oh, I saw somebody tweet something about Chucky returns to HHN merchandise. Is it really? So that even though he's not in the event, as far as we know?
As far as we know, Chucky's just thrown in there.
That's odd, but all right.
Yeah, I thought it was strange. And Islands of Adventure opened a Halloween store today as well, so there's kind of a double Halloween store now.
I'm all for it. The more Halloween, the better.
Disney's been going strong with the after hours for like weeks now.
Yeah, I mean, the Boo Bash started in July, or whatever it is. Now I'm trying to think, is there any place here where they could stick Chucky and it would make, I mean,
really,
30 years, 30 fears, because he did have his own scare zone.
He had his own scare zone. Really, any events. Of them. The Eddie one. I mean, there's references.
I was thinking Eddie, maybe.
There's references to characters reappearing everywhere, so there's a place to throw them in
Definitely.
there.
I mean, 30 years, 30 fears, that would make perfect sense. And that was a cool scare zone. Actually, the puppet that talked to the audience and stuff.
Yeah, I liked that.
Or if I guess he, they could shoehorn him into puppet theater, but I don't think that would really make any sense. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Chucky does show up somewhere then, if they're putting him on the merch. But that's cool. I like that they're mixing the different, Universal monsters, their own. Because when we were there last October, I got the Universal mask with just Frankenstein on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'll probably be wearing, I have a feeling.
Universal.
Or they still have said as long as you're vaccinated, right?
Yeah, it's still technically optional, inside and outside, as of right now.
Yeah, let's hope it stays that way.
And from what I've been told, people who go, because I kind of asked, and look, again, not getting into that argument here.
No.
As far as I know, it's a pretty large percentage of people that are not wearing masks and are going. In fact, now there have been changes recently, even as of today, for employees. And I think Universal has gone to a similar mode as Disney, which is giving people lead time, but that if you are,
they want them vaccinated.
If you're working there, got no problem with that. If that's what they want to do, it's their company, their business. And so does that bode well for certain things? Maybe not, but I think in general, you have the whole slate announced. You've had the park's been open for over a year. There are plenty of things going on with Horror Nights related, and regardless of what the rules and regulations are, we'll be there.
Yep.
And I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to that bit of that we missed last year of actually going and experience this communally. Do I think there should, because they're doing Stay and Scream and those kind of things, do I think there maybe should be some different ways to open up the gates, bring people into Halloween Horror Nights, not unlike what they do at Disney, where it's like, you're inside already and then it switches and they get people out. I don't think that will happen. I am a little concerned about the bottlenecking kind of thing that happens every year at Horror Nights.
Yeah.
That could become a mess.
Yeah.
But who knows what the demand will be. We'll see in a couple weeks.
Oh, I suspect it's going to be pretty high.
I do too.
I think this might be a banner year for Horror Nights, which means you might want to get your Express Pass tickets.
Yeah, get your Express Pass, get your Frequent Fear, get your Rush, get all the fears.
Yeah, get all the fears.
Tears
and fears. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Yeah.
Or run it.
Yeah. If you're Jeremy Padower.
Who run the world? All right.
Who run the world? Fears.
Fears.
I don't know how that made me laugh.
I mean, man, we are 3 weeks from the day. So
that's crazy. I don't even know how to.
Please don't let anything screw this up at the 11th hour.
We really should make an appointment or make our travel.
Make an appointment. I'd love to make an appointment.
We should probably make our flights.
Okay, let's do that.
Maybe we'll do that tomorrow or Monday or something.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
That's what's happening. Or Monday.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, us. We could now. We can't talk on the weekends.
Well, as if we don't.
Hey,
as if we don't talk 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I feel very good. I feel very excited about this lineup.
I was giddy yesterday reading when you texted me and said that they released everything, and I didn't even know because I was busy on something. Man, I got the rush of not fear, but
you got the steroid shot.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm just such a pessimist. I'm like, don't let anything screw this up. Now we just need to get...
Well, because last year we had quite the egg on our face. We're like, it's going to happen. And then it was, people went, you guys said it was going to happen. Like we have any control.
I know.
We keep it positive here on ScareZone. I have seen people who've been, there's a lot of positivity. There's some negativity towards some of stuff. And I saw our friend Gary posted that, lighten up. If you don't like a T-shirt, who cares?
Right.
Yeah,
don't buy it.
Right. I mean, it's not for you then.
Be glad we're eating anything this year, I don't care. And speaking of Gary, we just have to pray that people from the UK can come.
I still don't really know if I understand the rules.
I don't either.
I have friends that in England right now.
I know, but I think if they come here, they have to quarantine.
So
you have to take like a month long.
Don't they get that vacation?
I don't know if they get that long.
I don't know. Just come here on your holiday and take 14 days.
Once you're done, you get 2 days to do anything,
Just
and then you got to go back.
Volcano Bay and be like, there it is.
There it is. I mean, if you were going to be...
Look at all the people having fun.
If you're going to be quarantined in a family suite at Cabana Bay, I'd be all right with that.
Or at the world-famous Airbnb.
All right, that'd
Even
be better.
You got lots of room.
Get your own pool.
A pool. You know, if you're going to be quarantined, it's the best place to be.
It's true. Yeah. So if you're taking that month-long holiday...
Yeah,
because you have to quarantine, then come on over.
Holiday.
That's right.
I saw Green Day last week, and they played that. My son was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "Well, Green Day aren't British, but he sings kind of like that, and I think it's like a reference to that."
That's a good question. Yeah, I guess. I've never really thought about that until you just brought it up. What that song even means, and I've sung it a million times.
It's about being on vacation.
I know. I don't take a lot of anything literally. I'm just like, oh, they're on holiday. Great.
Oh, the show is so great. All right, let's wrap it up. If you want to plan your next trip, we actually have if you're going pre-Horror Nights, I will say this. Starting in 2 days, August 15th or whatever it is, I have a pretty big gap of availability at the Airbnb. These are actually 2 of the slowest weeks in Florida. Typically, is this last few weeks of August as kids have gone back to school.
That makes sense.
And so if you are interested in staying,
it's 2,000 degrees.
it's hot. It's a hot one. Not that's not here. And you can book it at Airbnb.com and reach out to me because I will work out a deal for you if you want to come stay. There are some dates open in September and October as well, and we hope to have you at the world famous Airbnb, My Orlando Vacation Rental Home. It's a reunion resort, just about 20 minutes from Universal, 5-10 from Disney. So take a look at that, Airbnb.com, or reach out to me directly.
And if you would like, if you haven't purchased a copy of my book Emily Moonlight, just for the month of August, any royalties that I earn, I'm donating to an organization called Together We Rise, which provides a lot of services for kids in the foster system. They have one specific program right now where they will actually make and provide duffel bags to foster children, because right now when they get moved from house to house, they're just given a garbage bag to put their clothes in. Which is like, aren't these kids dealing with enough? Yeah. So for the month of August, any royalties earned on Emily Moonlight, I'm donating to that organization for their different programs like that, and they send them things on their birthdays just to make them feel, included and give them some dignity. Cool. So
I love that.
And also, if I don't pat myself on the back too hard, it's a great book if you like horror and horror nights. So
you should submit it to Crypt.
We should make something of it.
Do something. All right. Until next time, and as always, keep your eyes closed, your ears open, and we'll see you at Finnegan.